Hi, I'm James the Box Office Artist, and welcome to part 3. Part 3 of me drawing this Thor from Thor Ragnarok series. And this particular video, I deal with lighting, shading, and like cross-hatching, okay? And a little bit more advanced inking techniques, okay? I suggest you don't watch this video until you finish the first two, okay? That you finish the construction video and you finish the basic inking video, okay? Before getting to this particular video. Especially if you're new, please do watch the construction video because I believe that is the most important video out of this series. But if you have gotten through those two videos, in this particular video, I'm going to show you how I think about lighting and how I would go ahead and render that. You know, I'm pretty much sharing all my techniques with you here. So if you're interested, why don't you watch me shade and render this Thor Ragnarok piece right now. So the first thing you need to determine is, where is your light coming from? Where do you want this light to come from? You want it to come from this side, you want it to come from this particular side here, and then you have to decide how the light will wrap around your particular character. So looking at it right now, those are the two ways I could go, either way, this way or this way. So probably to just make it easier for this particular tutorial, I'm going to have the light going this way. I'm going to have the light going this way, so I'm going to draw a little arrow here. So I know the light's going this way. That way I know light is going to gradate around certain areas here. So it all depends on how much lighting you want to put in, okay? So right now I'm just going to do this general shadows areas, and once you're done that, you're by all means, you could stop right there, okay? But with my red pen, I'm just trying to determine where those general shadow areas will be. Probably this arm, the light will probably hit this top of this arm, go around, or probably be dark under here, under the chest, around this rib cage here, okay, around the side here, under here for sure, underneath this leg here. All of those will have general dark areas, maybe even around the face. So it also depends on the face how much you want to add shadow you want to add to the face. So to do that, I am actually going to use for this tutorial, I am going to use a Sharpie. Okay, now, I'll admit to you guys right now, Sharpies are probably not the best. Okay, they're not the best material out there. They will fade after a while. Okay, so if you want to go to the art store, you want to get yourself a more, you know, a better type of material, whether that be Liquitex or whatever you want to use, by all means. By all means. For my personal preference, I like using Sharpies, mainly because I got a lot of them. Okay, but even you could even just use your pencil and just darken in those areas. So right now, I'm going to darken in all the areas which I believe there would be shadow. So for example, light would hit this, go underneath. So there would be shadow underneath this neck here. Probably with this little detail here, there would be shadow going on there. Probably, you see where this helmet is? Probably in here, right underneath, there would be shadow. So you got to be very careful. Here, right underneath, you would have some shadow there. Right here, probably be a little bit of shadow there. Okay, so you go throughout your drawing. Now you see how we outline the chest here? There will probably be some shadow underneath this chest here, so I'm gonna actually kind of rough that in. Okay. It's gonna go here like that, like this, and I'm gonna fill this in like so. A little bit more on this side, so you can really see the chest now. Maybe a little bit underneath here. So same here over here. Maybe we'll get a little bit of shadow going on here. Now under the rib cage in the front, you would probably get a little bit of shadow here. So I'm going to go ahead, kind of block that in. And everyone's different. Their rib cage, some people's rib cages are different. How they are underneath there. If you look at different bodybuilders, it could get, you know, change a lot. But for sure, the light's coming down this way, we're going to get shadow under here. we're going to get shadow probably inside here, and most likely we're going to get shadow right underneath. And we're going to get shadow right here. Now, depending on your comic book sensibilities, sometimes comic book artists, they like to outline some ribs. So we'll see if we could achieve that here. I'm just going to outline a few ribs here. Like so. So depending on your style, again, this can all come down to style at the end of the day. But the shadows itself, they have to make sense. Don't put black just for the sake of putting black, or don't put black just because you see a particular artist, they put black in that certain places. No, you need to understand how the shadow's working. Okay, and even so, I might even bring this down a tiny bit. Like so. Shadow work underneath here. Okay, and for sure shadow will go under here to the point where I might even make this whole leg black. Okay, but let's finish up here first. Probably gonna add a little bit of shadow here. Now it's up to you. Some artists, they like to keep the skin clean of shadow. Okay, they like to, but again, depends on the artist. Depends on the artist. For me personally, I like to add a little bit of shadow going on, like so. Okay, but you need to understand how they go around the muscles. Now, you know what? You might notice I leave a little bit of white line here. What that is, that's rim light. Okay, that's light that's probably coming from a different place or around. Like adding just a little bit of those touches here. Okay, maybe a little bit of shadow underneath here and underneath here, like so. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit of shadow here, down. Okay, and these will be filled with shadow. I'm gonna actually use a thicker Sharpie for that. And sometimes you might, depending on what you want to do, sometimes they even block out those particular parts here. Let me go to this hand first before I decide to do that. Making all these little decisions on the fly. Go under here, add some more shadow under here, like so. Underneath like that. So you could start seeing how this character is coming together here. Okay, and depending if you want to add shadow here, you can. Not entirely necessary. I might leave it for now. Okay, but even the sword would probably have a little bit of shadow to it. Maybe I will add a little bit of shadow to this hand. Might be too much. I think I went a little bit overboard with that hand. Now he's got like a black... You can see we got a black hand now, a black glove. I think a little too much with that hand. I shouldn't have done that, but it's okay. You can white that out or whatever you want to do. But I'll just leave it for now. I'm going to go here, add a bit of shadow to this arm. All these little details, adding a little bit of shadow here and there. Okay, might even add a little bit more shadow here. Some lines here. Right under here. Okay, so if you want, you could add a little bit of shadow here. I'm still contemplating about putting shadow there or not. Add shadow in these little areas here. But most of these legs will be blacked out anyway. And a little bit of shadow here. A little bit of shadow here. Here, and there will probably be a lot of shadow going on here. I'm gonna have shadow that's going right down this particular detail here, like so. And I'm going to actually add shadow here to mimic folds. Because it looks like he's wearing more like these cargo type pants. Everything, so I'm going to add a little bit of shadow here to kind of represent that. So I'm going to put these little X's, and what these little X's are, these tell me where I'm going to add shadow to. Okay, I'm going to fill those in black. Even here, I might even be inclined to fill all of this in black at the same time. Now let's see, this Sharpie is not too bad here. So I'm going to use this just to fill in. This is a little bit running out. I need to get some more newer Sharpies here. So, down like this, add in some black here like so, add the black in here, add the black in here, okay, then adding the black down here. And then it all depends on, for this shield, how you want to do this. I'm going to draw a line that goes like this, underneath. Like so. Most of this shield I'm going to make dark. Okay. Also know that will make a shadow there. And like so. And then now I'm looking at the helmet, seeing if that needs just a bit more shadow here. I might add a little bit more shadow to this helmet. Like so. So I'm just going to clean up some of these lines so they look less sketchy. Like so. Just to add a little bit of detail to this belt. Okay, and there you have it. That is step 2. That is step 2. Now you could stop here. Of course, you could clean up a lot of these lines here, but if you wanted to stop here, after adding the shadow, as you can see, the shadow actually adds a lot more depth to the actual character itself, so you definitely could stop here if you want. But then I'm going into the third phase, which is an even more highly detailed phase, and that is the the cross-hatching phase. This is where we are going to take the light and actually have it gradate around the skin. If I were to show you my hand here, for example, I got a shadow here. How does that, but there's no hard line. There's no hard line unless you have like a direct cut. Like if I go like this, then you see a direct line that would cut across, kind of like this. But it doesn't. You see how it lightly goes around? There's a gradation of light that goes around like this. We could try to achieve that within our actual drawing here by using a technique. I personally like using something called hatching and cross-hatching. That's when you have lines that go straight across, and that will help out a lot. So we are going to do that right now. So I'm going to use a 0.1 micron. We're going to start with that. And I'm going to start just adding a little bit of cross-hatching here. Okay, so let's start, well, it depends on where you want to start. Let's start with the chest here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead here and then just add a little bit of lines that would go straight across like this. Not too much, because there's light that's coming down here like this, so it would be a little harder. I'm just going to strengthen this line here with the little strap there. Then I'm going to go ahead and add some more lines here underneath. But really where the light comes across is in this particular area here. Okay, the rib cage. Light will really go around there. So let's adding some cross hatching that would go like this. Point where it almost overtakes the whole piece like that. And I'm just adding just a little bit more, little extra lines that goes like that. Now if you want, you could also do something which we call cross hatching. So you have lines that are going one way, that's hatching. Cross hatching is when you have lines going the other way. It's kind of like in a checkered pattern, like so. Okay, artists like David Finch uses this particular technique a lot. One of my heroes. So that's what we would do to have the light kind of gradate around. You probably get the same thing over here on this side. So I'm going to add a little bit of cross hatching here like so. And even to this belt here. Okay. Now there's a lot of little details here in the belt. I might add a little few more details at the end. But let's get this hatching done first. Here I'm going to have the light kind of gradate down from the abdomen section here. So it would go down like that. Okay. Now let's go back to the top here. I'm gonna start adding some cross hatching here. Here. Now what I didn't add before was like a little vein here. I would like to, Thor is a muscular guy, so I'd like to add a little bit of a vein. Goes kind of around like that. And you could also add cross hatching here if you want. Just kind of helps define a lot of these areas here. And I'm also going to draw cross hatching that's going down. Because I already darkened this hand, I might as well go for it. And then adding a lot of hatching that goes down like that, like so. And around. See, I'm even inclined just to darken this out after a while. But I'll do that in a second. Okay, so actually looking at it now, I think this actually needs to be a little bit higher. This part of the chest here. As you can see here, the shadow is above. So I actually need this to be a little bit more higher. Okay, so we're going to actually fill that in with the Sharpie here. a little bit higher. Again, like I said before, guys, one of those things where sometimes take a step back and take a look at it, and then you'll be able to see mistakes like that. Okay. So just like that, and then maybe I'll a little cross hatching there. We got a little bit of shadow in here. Okay. Shadow there. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more cross hatching over here on this side here. This little loincloth he has here. Okay, there you go. And this particular leg here. You notice I didn't really outline the leg muscles, and mainly because that's the type of pants that he has. He has kind of like these cargo-ish pants. He has cargo pants, so they wouldn't be so defined. So again, that all depends on style. If you wanted to really outline things like the quadricep muscles and all that, you definitely can. We'll chalk that up to style. Go like so. That. Okay. Add some here. Might add some here. One down, like that. Maybe a little bit underneath the neck there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go add just a little bit of shadow to the face, okay? Because I feel the face kind of needs a little bit more definition. So you gotta be very careful when you do something like this. Again, it also depends on, you know, how much you want to, you know, define it. So I'm gonna just add a little bit of shadow here to the side here. Might even put this eye almost completely in shadow, like so. Same with this eye here. Because again, light is coming this way. And there might be a little bit of shadow underneath his eye, like that. Okay. Might even add a little bit of cross hatching to this face here, like this. Same with the other side. There you go. And now I'm going to add a little bit to his beard, just to give it a little bit more definition. Here. A little bit under the lip. Probably be a little bit darker. And I would just using cross hatching because it's hair, right? So hair, you know, have all these little strands that's going down like that. So I'm gonna use the hair to help me define the shadow in this beard, like so. Like that. I might even, you know, this part here, maybe even add a little bit of shadow here. And looking at it now, maybe I'll even add some around here. So always making these decisions on the fly. But they gotta make sense at the same time. The shadow has to make sense. Wouldn't make sense for me to add more blacks on some specific sides of this particular character here. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit more. Underneath there would be shadow here. for the sword, it's all up to you how much you want to shadow the sword. I might add just a little bit here. A little shadow from where the hand is, like so. And it's up to you if you want to actually put in shadow for that part of the sword. That's totally up to you. I think I'll leave it for now. Okay. So now I'm just going back and forth, seeing where else I could add shadow here. Now, be careful when you cross-hatch certain sections here. Some parts don't need it. Like when it comes to metal, you don't necessarily need cross-hatching. Sometimes you get like reflections in metal. And what I'm doing right now, for example, these parts here, they would have little reflections. Sometimes what some comic artists do, they'll do something like this, and then they'll add some lines that go straight across like that. So it's supposed to be a reflection, but it kind of gives a, you know, you got a little bit of hatching in there. So I'm just going in now, adding in some little extra details here and there. Going back to this little, what's it called? The shield here, and I'll admit the shield's not 100% accurate. So I'm going to add some cross-hatching to the shield, like so. Okay, and this actual part here, this little detail here, this has a little pattern inside, so you could add the pattern if you want. So looking at it right now, it's a very, very interesting pattern. So I'm gonna actually just try to black it in just by eyeball. You know what might be interesting is if you actually fill this in black and then you could actually draw the pattern in with white, which you definitely could do. That, something like that. So it all depends on how detailed you want to get with these particular areas here. That. That. So that's not 100% accurate, but I think it looks cool. So I'm just gonna add some extra like little lines here and there, which I think will help with it. You don't necessarily have to do this again. But you might also notice I'm gonna do something like this because this is metal. This shoulder pad's metal. So I'm running it just a little bit differently. Again, more with a reflection. Okay. I might actually black this part in here. Like one like that, and then one like that. I might even just black that completely inside there. So we're almost done here. Okay, and oh, I forgot this part here. Let me just finish off. This part here. And one more thing I do like to add whenever I'm drawing a character like this. This is very Stephen Plattish. One thing he likes to do is add like things like dirt and little nicks here and there. It just adds just that little bit of extra detail to it. So I'm gonna do that right now. Just adding little nicks like this, little dots here. Just little, because nothing in life is perfect, right? Including a lot of these. So I'll put little nicks here and there, some cracks. Maybe a little crack here like this. I'm gonna add a little crack here on the shield. Same with here. Maybe I'll add a little bit of detail here, just like that. Again, not sure if 100% accurate, but it doesn't have to be. You're not using this for production. This is more for me, right? Then maybe I'll add like a little bit, something like this. What that does is just adds just a tiny bit more. So add as much, as little detail. You don't want to overwork it, but at the same time, you want to have some fun at the end of the day. Okay, I'm just gonna fix this one side here. Maybe you can just make it all black. Just make it all black. Thank you for getting through my Thor Ragnarok series, and I hope you enjoyed all 3 videos, that you were able to sit through all 3 videos. I'm not sure how long this video is, probably like 30 minutes or so, but I would love to see what you did, okay? I would love to see how your particular Thor came out. Hopefully you ended up with a better likeness than I got in mine. Mine felt a little bit older, but all the principles are the same, so I would love to see it. If you could tweet to me what you actually drew, I would love to see it. Tweet me at Box Office Artist. I would love to see your drawings. In fact, please follow me on all social media: Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram at Box Office Artist, Facebook.com/TheBoxOfficeArtist, Twitch.tv/BoxOfficeArtist, and watch out for next week, where I will continue with this new weekly tutorial series, James Raises Superhero Masterclass. Check out all the videos. It's a lot of fun. Now, I know for the ones coming up, a lot of them will be like poses that are very similar. However, the way I approach drawing different faces, the way I approach drawing different costumes, you might pick up something new from everyone. So hopefully you could stick around and join me. In fact, I would love to know what you think of this new masterclass. Let me know in the comments down below, and know that I will drop this every Friday. Every Friday, I will drop 2 to 3 videos that will be interconnected. So for the weekend, you could go and try to draw your own character. So let me know what you think of that idea down below. Welcome to James Raises Masterclass, Superhero Masterclass. Glad to have you to be a student of mine. In fact, if you are here and you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button and I will be your friend for life. Please also like, share this video, follow me on all social media. And my name is James. I am the Box Office Artist. I'm here to say keep drawing, and I'll see you all next time.